Welcome to the 2024 edition of the Learning Planet Festival and our latest edition of LP Vision. LP Vision is the Learning Planet Alliance's series dedicated to building a bridge between the worlds of education, business and society and seeking out those that are creating positive new ways for us to live, learn and work. Our guests at LP Vision are people we refer to as architects for tomorrow, those that have taken great ideas from concept to reality. And through our conversations with them, we want to define the education skills and tools and networks the future generations are going to need. We want to highlight the need for lifelong learning and to create meaningful work and careers. And we want to create connections between those building the future of education and assessments and those building our future companies, technologies, economies, and organizations. And of course, we want to inspire you to take action. My name is Kristen Davis. I'm your LP Vision host. And on this International Day of Education, we've lined up world-class architects for tomorrow for you. These are people that are building a learning planet for living through their work in the fields including science, environment, sports, and culture. I'll not be welcoming and interviewing them alone, though. Let me introduce you to my fantastic co-host, Reem Najjar. Welcome to LP Vision, Reem. It's great to have you with us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Kristen. Hi, everyone. My name is Reem Najjar, and I'm a student at the Learning Planet Institute. I'm originally from Lebanon, and it was while working with Save the Children that I discovered my true passion for education. And that is when I decided to move to Paris. I'm also a Youth Fellow Council member with the Learning Planet Alliance, which is a global network of game changers united to transform education and learning so that we can take better care of ourselves, each other, and our planet. Before we dive into our LP Vision episode Kristen was just telling you about, let me tell you about the Learning Planet Festival that is taking place from the 24th to the 27th of January 2024. This year's festival features more than 500 workshops, discussions, hackathons, and performances in multiple languages. Some are online and some are in real life, perhaps not so very far from where you are right now. What really defines the Learning Planet Festival is its co-construction with the 400+ Learning Planet Alliance partners. By taking part, you will get to meet our amazing community of educators and learning game changers from all around the world. You can check out the full festival program on our platform. The URL is showing on the screen, and we'll be telling you about some of the events not to be missed over the course of our live broadcast today.
Thanks, Reem. It's great to have you with us here and for telling us about the festival. Now, at the Learning Planet, we believe that education must go beyond the traditional classroom and curriculum in order to enable us to learn to take better care of ourselves, each other, and our planet. Hence, using this episode to focus on building a learning planet for living and to look at the environment around us and how we can use science, sports, and culture, not just to help us to survive, but also to thrive.
As well as interviewing architects for tomorrow, we'll also be paying special attention to 3 critical building blocks for a learning planet: intergenerational societies, lifelong learning, and transformative action.
And Reem, talking of action, in just a few minutes, you're going to be interviewing Francisco Vera, a 14-year-old Colombian-born climate change activist who is already having a big impact at a global level. But first, let me introduce you to an architect for tomorrow at an organization that's building a full future for life on Earth and beyond. Welcome to LP Vision, Jim Rhoné.
Hello, Kristen, hello, Reem.
Jim, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the VP of Product at Interstellar Labs. We have the mission of preserving life on Earth whilst helping it expand into space. Can you tell us, please, what is Interstellar Labs and a little bit more about your mission and what you're building?
Yeah, absolutely. So Interstellar Lab is a company that's been founded in 2018 by our founder, Barbara Belvisi. And the goal from the start is to deploy life on Earth and in space. And for that, we build what we call the biopods, that are structures with different form factors that are able to to recreate ideal conditions for plants to thrive. That can have like different applications such as food production, science for sure, biodiversity protection. So you need to picture it as big greenhouses that run autonomously, and the main point about this is the idea of the closed loop. So everything is closed loop, recycled, no waste, very efficient. So that's what we do.
Okay, so you have these biopods. Now, as an architect, and you're a true architect and an architect for tomorrow, can you tell us how, with Barbara and the team, you've taken this from an idea, from this vision, to the reality that you're working with today?
Yeah, it's super interesting because the project from the start is essentially a kid's dream. When Barbara started to work on the project, she was back at NASA at this time and starting to picture how we could bring life in space. And the whole idea from that has been taken back on Earth and see how we could, use space tech and all the ideas, the concept about the logic of the system inside and everything, and the closed loop being the main one, and how to apply that on Earth to provide better conditions for plants to grow. So Interstellar Lab, it's a very diverse company made of designers, engineers, agronomists, software developers that together work on product development that have, again, very different form factors, some being made for Earth applications, some dedicated to space, but all with the common goal of recreating the possibilities for plants to grow in ideal conditions in these biodomes that we call biopods.
Okay. How big are these biodomes, Jim? Just so that we can get an idea of them in our head.
Yeah, so the first biopod we delivered last year is 12 meters long, 6 meters wide, and 6 meters tall. So it's like a decent greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially made for R&D and small scale production. Idea from that is to develop a wide diversity of products, being smaller units that could be used for R&D programs that we run internally. It can turn into payloads that we're gonna send into space station or really soon on the moon. So it can take essentially very diverse form, but with the same core idea of recreating these ideal conditions with a very efficient system.
Fantastic. So in fact, taking this technology that may have been used in space or has grown here on Earth and putting these two together, what has been the greatest breakthrough for you on this journey that you've been on so far in creating these biopods?
Well, my background is architecture, and I quitted the construction industry a few years ago, especially because that project was bridging a lot of different fields. The main one being agronomy and the plant science, and I think that's where the whole magic about what we do stands is understanding the living,
Mm-hmm.
to make our products possible. Biopods are not just just a tech put on the ground and let like this. It's essentially a living machine, right? So in order to get your product working properly, you really need to get to the core basics, which is understanding the living, how plants grow, what you need to provide them, and all the environment that's required around to make this happen. So I think that's what everything's passionate about in the company, and that's what we are pushing for during the coming years.
And what has been your most proudest moment so far in this journey?
Well, I guess it was the delivery of our first product, Biopod, that we delivered last September, and well, it was we went super fast from design to production, and the main pride for the whole company was to see this product on site, fully operational, and able to run exactly what we intended for, meaning to have plants thriving inside this biodome.
Certainly, seeing that for the first time must have been an amazing moment for you and your team. But this journey that you've been on, it's not easy taking these things from vision to reality. What is it that you've learned most on this journey, and what is it that keeps you motivated to keep going?
It is very complex when you start bridging hardware, software with the living. It's the understanding of what lies behind is so important, and it takes you to very deep topics. You need to being on the surface doesn't work for this kind of project. You need to deep dive into the core understanding of everything. That's been the most challenging, and one of the main learning is for sure for the whole team is humility. We have very good designers, engineers, agronomists, but making that a consistent product, able to run with very much efficiency, reducing and trying to solve current problems we have on Earth is really teaches you humility. For sure, failure, iteration, and that current loop, being able to fail and accept failure is super important.
That's fantastic advice for all of our architects out there. Yeah, humility and being able to accept failure, definitely. What is it that you're building at the moment then, Jim? So you mentioned that with Barbara and the team, you've taken this vision and you now have your biopods. What is it you're working on and building right now?
So biopod we have currently on site is in our facility was an operational and very functional prototype. The main challenge for this year is we're getting on the market. So basically we have to deliver these biopods to our customers, being able to industrialize. That's the main challenge for the year. So currently the whole team is working on the second iteration of our product. So that we're gonna deliver by the end of the year in the south of France. And parallel to this, we're engaging a lot of projects on the space application. So it's essentially for now payloads that we're gonna send to the space station to study how plants can grow in space, which is a very important topic for the future of space exploration. Another project super exciting that with a mission name called Little Prince that's gonna be sending a payload on the moon. So we locked a payload inside a rover from Astrolab Venturi, and that's gonna be deploying our payload on the moon and see how plants can grow there. So super excited.
That's super exciting indeed. And thank you for telling us about that. We can't wait to follow what you and the team are up to. So seeing how we can indeed make plants and life thrive here on Earth, in space, on the space station and in the moon. You and the team truly are architects for tomorrow. Thank you so much for being with us, Jim. It's been great and an inspiration to have you with us, especially for all of our intergalactic audience. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
So now, our next organization has been an architect for tomorrow since it was founded in 1945. And through its World Heritage sites, it protects and preserves culture, heritage, and diversity. That is our buildings, nature, art, our music, food, and our literature. It also promotes world peace and security through international cooperation in education, arts, sciences, and cultures. And if you've not already guessed, I'm of course talking about UNESCO. Did you know that as well as its World Heritage sites, UNESCO also has created initiatives and programs to bridge the digital divide and global movements such as Education for All? To tell us more about how UNESCO is building a learning planet for living, we're going to hand the mic over now to two architects for tomorrow. Stefania Giannini, who's Assistant Director General for Education at UNESCO, and François Taddei, who's the founder and president of the Learning Planet Institute. Let's hear from each of them how they're building a learning planet for living. Welcome to LP Vision, Stefania and François.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Stefania, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. Happy International Day for Education, first of all. And well, happy also to share with you a few thoughts on this interesting, exciting idea that we must be the architects for tomorrow in these troubled times, in this fast changing landscape. Well, UNESCO actually is the guardian of the world, let's say the sentinel of the world, to put it very simply. And I think that the visionary program to protect the cultural heritage, which was launched in the 70s, is really kind of symbol, right? The flagship of the house to demonstrate how is important, is, I say, dramatically relevant, especially now, to preserve what the past is bringing to us in terms of monuments, the tangible heritage, as well as what we call at UNESCO intangible heritage. That means all different aspects of culture and cultural diversity. But now the question is a little bit maybe different. What we have to do to shape the future in a different way, as the world needs a kind of different future. If you want to take seriously the climate action, if you want to protect the planet and to preserve the planet for the future, we need a different generation of citizens. And if we want to deal with technology in a way that is a kind of, balance middle, being in the middle between the blind fanatism and scare, to be scared and ban technology from the classroom or other aspects of our life, we have to build a new kind of citizenship on this planet. So I see UNESCO as the place where architects for tomorrow, possibly new generations, more than my generation, I don't know, but I say all together, we can build the new vocabulary for this century. It's about inclusion versus inequalities and exclusion. It's about universalism and focusing on the common goods we have versus globalization as a process which actually already left behind so many in education and other sectors. It's actually about putting science, evidence, data at the core of policies and helping politicians and leaders to take very seriously messages and advices from scientists when it comes to health, pandemic, whatever the shock we are going to face, if any ever. So to that end, I think that which is the best platform we have to, put a kind of new legacy to bring to the future, to live to the next generation. And that's what being acting as architects for the future, for tomorrow means to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Stefania. Thank you for these inspiring words. I think that indeed inviting, as the UN Secretary General did it, he said, there is 4 ways to interact with youth during the Transforming Education Summit that you helped organize in 2022. His answer to the Youth Declaration on the future of education was very inspiring for me and I guess for many of the people around, because he said, there's 4 ways to interact with the youth: ignore them, pretend to listen, dialogue, or co-construct the future. And what you're talking about is, if we want the youth of today to be the architect of the future, we have to be in the 4th category, obviously. That was very inspiring. And I think that, taking his words seriously, and I know, given our many conversations, that, building together a space, a new type of university for the new type of citizens, what we call the planetizens, the citizens of the planet, aware of the planetary boundaries, and we would want to protect the commons that exist, but also create new commons and be recognized for this. So if we have a new generations of architects of tomorrow, and that, starts getting credibility and recognition and can climb on the shoulders of giants of the previous generations, that's what a university of tomorrow could be. So it's the university, not just a school of architecture, it's sort of the school of architecture of the world of tomorrow that we are talking about.
No, thank you so much, François, for also reminding us to a very special moment in time last year, now 2 years ago almost, when the Secretary General actually had this direct conversation with young people. And I remember that one of them was very, speaking loud about the role of young people sitting in the driving seat and not simply being part around the table, being in the party, not simply being invited at the party as it usually happens, so to say. Well, universities for sure are the place where ideally this might happen. Universities are by definition and by tradition for generating knowledge, transmitting knowledge to the next generations, and bringing innovation and bringing new systems of, even if it's a very conservative word. We must be very honest and transparent. I'm an academic by job in my life, and I know very well, I was a rector in my previous life, and I know very well that universities, the faculty don't like so much change many times. But now it's a very special time. I think we can build on this new awareness of the crucial role, once again, of science education to address effectively and differently the many challenges that we all have as citizens. So my dream is, in a nutshell, to build together the university for citizens of this planet, which maybe must benefit from all the tradition, all the expertise UNESCO has of the existing universities. UNESCO has, for example, as many of you know, a fantastic visionary network launched 37 years ago, the chairs, the UNESCO chairs, and they are, free to provide the organization with their thoughts, their ideas, their inspiring points for the future. But maybe now we need a further step. We need to bring all together these chairs, but also enlarging the scope of this community. And this university, if ever will happen to be, I see as a kind of reverse pyramid, right? So having young people on the top and senior leaders just kind of contributing to the system of knowledge and innovation. So possibly this is at the very beginning of 2024 a kind of wish we can share. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I love the idea, obviously, and as you know, we've invited young people from all over the world for a design challenge of the Planet Zone University. What sort of university do they want for their future? A university that is not designed by, the architect of yesterday, because universities have a long history, starting with Bologna and Sorbonne and Cambridge and Oxford and others. But, that is designed by the architects of the future that would want to create this. And by inviting these young people, we got, tens of amazing answers. And we are really committed. Tomorrow at more or less this hour, we would be discussing with these young people. We'll give an award to the 3 best projects, but without unveiling everything yet, we have discussed with every members of the jury and many partners, and all of them want to help not just the 3 best project, but the tens of projects we have to grow and be taken 1 or 2 steps further, so that ideally they can be offered to the world, say this September or certainly the next one. So that we can help the students to co-create the Planet Zone University that they want to become this, planetary citizens aware of the planetary boundaries, and where they can learn to build a new commons. They can nurture the natural commons that you have also with the biodiversity sites at UNESCO. They can learn to nurture the intellectual commons and also, co-create the digital commons of the future. And so by creating a space for the students that want to be these architects of tomorrow and want to create the university that will complement, as you were rightfully saying, the national universities that have co-evolved under historical, geographical, political and financial constraints, and therefore are not necessarily addressing the planetary challenges of today. And so having a place where students not just compete for yesterday's knowledge, but can be invited to contribute to today's challenges and co-construct the future is, I really think, something that is really very inspiring for certainly this generation, but probably, as you rightfully said, I think we can build this in an intergenerational way.
I think it's an excellent idea. I think, tomorrow it's a very good way to kick off somehow and share this idea to a larger audience. I would say that if UNESCO would be included and involved, as I hope, in this project, inclusion will be very much at the core of this initiative. So many young people are out of the system. We have to keep in mind that there is in the world still a huge higher education divide, let's say. So higher education in the north of the world, in rich countries, is not for all, but it covers some 74% of the age population. When you move to the south, to see the African sub-Saharan region, we can see that unfortunately it's still a privilege, and an open space to build together the common goods for the future is really very much needed, and it's at the end of the day a very concrete proposal we can work on.
I'll be delighted, and I think we should be as inclusive as possible, as you rightfully said. To give an example, it's only a few % of those that are in a refugee camp that have access to a higher education. And we're talking about millions of young people. But take Afghan women, they can certainly not rely on their governments for their education. So we have to, find ways to deliver to those that have been historically or presently deprived of their basic rights, which is the right to learn to care for self, others, and the planet. And, one of the rights that you are rightfully pushing at UNESCO, the lifelong learning as a new right. And I think learning to care for self, others, and the planet should definitely be something that is offered to everyone at all ages.
Absolutely. I was thinking while listening to you, François, that, when we talk about global citizenship now, when the 2030 agenda was launched, one of the new inspiring concepts for education was and still is a global citizenship education. When we talk about this, we mean that life must really be a learning process for all. And more than ever now, it's a must, it's a duty for society to make this life-wide and lifelong learning process a right for all. And that's, of course, the mission that UNESCO has, not an easy one, but we are very committed to move ahead along these lines.
So it's a pleasure to have you as a partner. I think our time is up. Thank you so much, Stefania.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And happy International Day for Education once again.
You too.
Thank you to you both. Thanks to Stefania, Giannini, and to François Taddei for sharing what they're building and they're working on and building a learning planet for living. Now, our architects for tomorrow and their truly transformative actions come from all walks of life, from all corners of the earth and also all areas of activity, including the world of outdoors and sports. Joining us now in the LP Vision studio, we have Jean-Pierre Haemmerlein, the director of the Decathlon Foundation. Welcome to LP Vision, Jean-Pierre.
Hello. Thank you for your invitation.
It's great to have you with us. It's a real pleasure to have you here in the studio. Now, Decathlon is known the world over. It's democratized sport by making it affordable and accessible. Today, you can even rent equipment rather than having to buy it. But can you tell us what is the Decathlon Foundation and your mission?
The Decathlon Foundation, Christian, is very simple because this foundation is aligned on the purpose of our company, which is move people through the wonders of sports. Mm-hmm. But our action is more on the people in need. and to help all these people in need to integrate society through the practice of sport. And we have today approximately more than 900 projects across the world in 50 countries. And through this 900 projects, we are helping more than 500,000 beneficiaries who are practicing regularly sport. And the term regularly is very important because all our projects are sustainable.
Okay, so you have this global reach of already these projects that are going on. Can you give us some examples of the Foundation's work and the impact that you've had, maybe in some areas?
It's a huge question and very difficult to answer to you, Kristen, because our 900 projects are so amazing. But I could give you perhaps an example from a Moroccan project, and this project in Morocco started in 2007. Okay, and we decided to help 200 young girls who were 11 years old at this period. Why? We decided to help these 200 girls because they came from the rural and campaign part of this region. And in this region, you must know that 70% of these girls give up the college because they have a primary school in their village, but the secondary school is outside the village, and they have to walk between 2 until 5 hours per day to go and to go back from the college. And in winter, for example, when the night come earlier, parents prefer that the girls stay at home because for their safety. And some father in this region prefer also that some of their daughters stay at home to help their mother. And it's very easy for them. They have many reasons to give up the college. And we decided to help them through a bicycle because we knew that through this bicycle it was possible for them to go to the bicycle, so to the school. And so we decided to organize a meeting with these 200 girls in Tiznit during one weekend with some of our teammates who are living in this part of this region. And we met each of these girls to give one bicycle and to say to each of them, hello, for example, you are Fatima, your bicycle is number 20, and this bicycle is for you, not for your father, not for your brother, to go to the college. And if you give up the college, we will take back the bicycle to give to another girl. Okay, so there was a kind of an agreement between... Yeah. And we did a workshop also to learn to all these girls who were 11 years old how to make bicycle, because they didn't know how to make bicycle during all the weekend. How to repair also the bicycle on the basic workshop. And we decided also to train the brother and the father in the different village to have some more complex workshop for the bicycle. And during 4 years, during all the college, we decided to follow up all these girls. And instead to have 70% of these girls who give up the college, we had only 15%. So we decided to go on and to go further until they're 18 years old. Okay. And it was amazing because, we started, as I told you, in 2007. And in 2019, I was in Morocco in a meeting of Decathlon. It was only a professional meeting, only with Decathlonian teammates from our company. I presented the foundation, And during this presentation, after the presentation, we have some questions. We were 100 people, store manager, accountant, etc. And one woman from Decathlon raised her hand to ask a question, and we gave her the micro, and I asked to her, "What is your question?" And she told me, "I have no question." I was very surprised, and she told me, "I have no question. I would like only to tell you that my name is Asma, you know, and you knew me when I was 11 years old. You learned, you trained me how to make bicycle, and I would like to tell you that through this bicycle I succeed. I was and I am today free. I did secondary school, but also university, and I'm so happy today. Through this bicycle, it was the opportunity for me also now today to choose my husband.
Oh, right.
And I would like to tell you that I am a department manager in our company Decathlon in bicycle field. So it was amazing.
So she went from being a young woman that you gave a bicycle to actually then going through her entire education and now working in the stores. But
12
more
years
than
ago, 12 years after.
Taking, you know, being empowered in her life through this bicycle. That's a fantastic story. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Can you tell us, why are you focusing now on impacting education? And what is it that you're building to achieve this?
You know, it's very important for us because we know today, with our small experience, after 80 years the foundation existed, that the youth are very important for our planet. And we think that when you are helping a young girl, for example, you are helping also the future children of this girl, and you are helping also her family. And through the education, we know that sport can be also very powerful to change many things and to introduce in the education the development of the life skill, of human values also. It's very, very important to change the planet and all the local ecosystem.
Certainly, we also know that children that play sports in schools and that regularly play in teams are more likely to have a regular attendance record at school as well. So whether it is indeed giving them a bicycle and teaching them how to ride and look after their bicycle to enable them to get to school, or enabling them to practice sports at school and therefore attend regular education. So that's fantastic. How can people find out more about the Decathlon Foundation, what you're up to and your projects?
Thank you, Kristen. You are welcome. You people who could come on our website, Decathlon Foundation, okay, or on our Instagram also. It's a Decathlon Foundation in English, okay, and our LinkedIn also, Decathlon Foundation. And in the future, we would like also to develop more, not a communication, but it's time now for us to share some of our project to many people across this planet, because it's our responsibility now to dispatch and to communicate about this for all the people who could use our successful project.
Well, Jean-Pierre, it's been fantastic having you with us here today to share with us on the International Day of Education here on LP Vision everything that you're doing for Decathlon Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do keep us posted on what you're doing and everything you're doing to advance education through sport. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristen.
Haemmerlein. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're continuing the theme of building a learning planet for living with a young man who is fighting to ensure we have a climate and habitat we can survive and thrive in. An architect for tomorrow who is proof that there is no age limit to being active and engaged. Francisco Vera was just 9 when he started his life's work as a climate activist and a defender of the right to a healthy environment, and he has dedicated himself to education for years through the group Guardians for Life. Welcome to LP Vision, Francisco. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. Very glad to be with you today. Thank you for inviting me.
You know, Francisco, it's truly inspiring to hear what you've achieved at such a young age. Can you tell us what Guardians of Life is and what inspired you to create it?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Guardians for Life is a movement that I started when I was 9 years old. I started with my colleagues from the school, and right now we are more than 700 children around all Colombia, all over the region, the Latin American and Caribbean region, and Spain also. And we are working especially on environmental, climate, and citizen education, precisely the topic that congregate us, no? So we are working on the inclusion also of children, of the powerful voice that the children have. And also we are making all as possible as we can to take climate action and to make governments to take climate action and take the different measures that are necessary to mitigate the impact of climate change. What inspired me to create it? Basically, it was the situation in the Amazon region, in the Amazon forest. In 2019, it was very difficult because of the deforestation and also the fire there. And in fact, right now, Colombia is living a very difficult situation again with the fire, the forest fire. So basically, the injustice, the impacting of that situation was what inspired me to take action. Yeah, there is a phrase of international amnesty that says, take the injustice, the social injustice, but also I add the environmental and social injustice as something personal. Is that I think the what inspired me to take climate action and to create this movement. Thank you.
It is amazing to hear you talk about this, Francisco. You are not only a climate activist, but you are also an author. Your children's book, What is Climate Change?, is a fantastic way to engage young minds. If you were to describe the book's essence in a sentence that captures its essence, what would it be?
Yeah, my book, I think, here, in fact, here it is. I'm gonna to
Yeah,
show you.
please go ahead and bring it.
Here it is. It is translated also to Arabic, into Arabic.
Yeah.
And I think that the main essence of the book is that anyone who have doubts and questions about the question of the climate crisis, of the climate change, and of the environmental situation in our world, can learn about these pages. So I think that that's the main essence, that also the what is writing here also can get influence in the people who read this. That's the objective of the book. That that's it. I think that the main essence is to make conscience more people around the world to take climate action together.
I completely agree with you. Francisco, you began your activism journey at the age of 9. What challenges have you faced as a young change maker, and what are the most valuable lessons you have learned along the way?
Well, I think that the main challenges that I have had to face is the simply fact of my age, and it is very sad to say that because the age shouldn't be something that shame us. The age when we start. In fact, I think that is something that should make feel us proud. But what I say that because we live in an autocentric society, so the spaces to create the policies to face, for example, the climate crisis and many other challenge, as for example the war, the hungry, the poverty, the challenges of the future are basic, let's say that, dominated or controlled by the adults, no? The rulers of the world are only adults, and the children are totally exclusive, no? But increasingly, we are seeing how there are more and more spaces for the children to take the floor and speak out for our rights, for our future, and for the planet. Basically, it's simply as understand that we are defending our future. We are defending our rights, the right to have environmental, a dignified and a sustainable and clean environment. It's a human right that. So I think that that's the main challenges of the age and of take part of the decision making, and also the main and most valuable lesson that I have learned is that if we want to change the world, it is difficult to do it first of all, but for not saying impossible. But if we do it, the change, the necessary change together, we will get get them. That's it. The main. Like, I would like to remark on that. The eco hope, I think, is the key to change our world. The eco anxiety generated by the different emotions that creates the climate crisis on the people make us feel like I don't know, in Spanish we say like reducidos, reduce, sad, no?
Yeah.
And it doesn't allow us to act. So the Eco Hub propose the action, propose to solve the problem of the eco anxiety. We have to take action with Eco Hub.
I completely agree with you. And this brings me to my next question, Francisco. As an architect for tomorrow, what, in your opinion, needs to change to ensure that young voices like yourself are heard and integrated into the decision-making process? How can we make this happen, in your opinion?
I think that first of all, the first step that we have to do if we want it to do something real is to have a willingness. If there is no willingness to include the children and the different population that have been historically excluded, we cannot do anything. Basically, if there is willingness to take climate action, I think that is as simple as just take the climate action. Yeah, just include the children. And how? I think that through more spaces to hear their opinions, to hear their experiences, to hear all what they have to say. They go to say. And also, I think that, in fact, it's not something about the policies, about create the spaces to hear the children. It's also a cultural change, no? Because if you ask to an adult about what children have to say, what the children have to contribute will not take into account that, no? So it's like start to hearing our children, start to paying more attention to them, and to really taking into account in the decision making their opinions, because finally the decisions that have been taken, the only ones who will be affected by them are the children, no? The adults who are taking the decisions will be not affected by them, by the consequences of of those decisions. Are the children who will be affected by them.
It is truly empowering to hear you talk about this, Francisco. And this brings me to my last question. How can people follow you and find out more about your work?
Well, you can find me in my social media as Francisco Activist, or my movement also, Guardians for Life. And finally, thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for be struggling for the climate action for our future together. Thank you, François, by the way, also for leading all that, and to all the young people who is doing it also. Thank you so much. Continue forward.
Thank you so much, Francisco, for joining us at LP Vision and for sharing with us your wisdom at a young age, and for showing us that anyone can be an architect for tomorrow regardless of their age. If you're a young game changer like Francisco, make sure you apply to become a Learning Planet Youth Fellow and meet people like you and me and Francisco already making a difference to the world around them. You can find out more details and how to apply on the Learning Planet's platform. The URL is at the bottom of the screen, and this is also where you'll find out everything that's going on as part of the Learning Planet Festival right now.
Thanks for that great interview with Francisco Ream. We are so proud to have young voices here on LP Vision. As we said earlier, at the Learning Planet, we believe that education must go beyond the traditional classroom and curriculum so as to enable us to take better care of ourselves, each other, and our planet. We hope that this episode and our guest architects for tomorrow have illustrated some of the transformation actions and projects already taking place around the world, and already also inspired you to think about what you can do to build a learning planet for living.
If you are a teacher, an education specialist, edtech innovator, climate scientist, environmental activist, or a student, and want to engage with others like you, then check out our year-round events and action program on our Learning Planet platform. We'll put the URL up again on the screen right now.
So a big thanks to all of our architects for tomorrow: Rhoné, Stefania Giannini, François Taddei, Jean-Pierre Haemmerlein, and Francisco Vera for joining us in this episode on building a learning planet for living.